Hi, my name is Jordan Mastronardi. The path I chose was pre-workout. My research topic deals with the physiological effects of pre-workout in the body. Pre-workout is this big hype about before the workout, you take this powdered substance and it amps up your body and it jacks you up and it gets ready to go. My findings are going to be, does the pre-workout help you increase your muscle composition in a short period of time? To start, we're going to go over a quick overview of what the presentation is going to be about. First, I'm going to have an introduction, followed by a lit review, and then we're going to talk about the experiment that I did. So the slides will consist of a design, a methodology, results, conclusion, and discussion. So to start off, we're going to talk about the introduction. Through qualitative and quantitative research, my experiment was conducted. The purpose of this study was to see if the effects of pre-workout would change the muscle composition of participants in a short period of time. Through some background info, I found that pre-workout increases the energy in the body and gets the body in a state of excitement. Pre-workout also makes you want to work out. That's why people enjoy taking pre-workout before their workout. It helps them get into a state of high intensity, and it helps them power through their lifts and complete the whole lift. Now we're going to talk about some lit review. The current evidence in this subject tells us that pre-workout does have an effect on the body. Past studies showed that with the use of pre-workout, max load, VO2 max, and power all increased with the use of pre-workout as your supplement. Though these findings are huge for the study of pre-workout, there were some limitations. Sample sizes were too small. They only use sample sizes in the range of 20 plus. They don't really go into the teenage years. And the tests aren't long enough for significant data. Pre-workout takes a while, so these tests that are only 3-4 weeks don't show enough data to prove that pre-workout is doing its job. Now we're going to talk about 3 significant studies that I read. Outlaw 2014 is the first one I want to talk about. He had a sample size of 29 people, 13 males and 16 females. The average age was 31.87 with a standard deviation of about 7.8. His study consisted of 6 weeks. Outlaw's findings showed us that the correct blend of pre-workout used can have beneficial effects with increasing power and maintaining VO2 max. We also found that the correct blend of pre-workout is 74.4% more likely to help benefit you than if you don't use the pre-workout. But the big thing Outlaw found for us is that there is a correct blend. You can't be just using all different kinds of pre-workouts. You have to find which ones mix well together and will help you work out to the best. The next study I want to talk about is Bloomer 2010. His sample size consisted of 19 male participants. Their age was about 24 years old with a standard deviation of about 4 years. With the complete opposite of Outlaw, Bloomer's study consisted of 52 weeks. Within those 52 weeks, he had his participants train 3 times a week. What he found from the training was that a certain type of pre-workout had the most beneficial effect on the body. This effect came from the pre-workout supplement of glycocarn. Glycocarn had effects on blood flow. Increasing your blood flow helped increase your total volume of load during the 10-set bench press maximum. This study will help me later on when I do my study because I deal with bench presses as well. Now next we go to Ormsby 2013. He had a sample size of about 24 people. These were all males as well. Their age was also 24 years old, but he had a smaller standard deviation of about 2.3 years. His study consisted of 6 weeks. This is going back on the lower end. His study showed us that MIPS, or multiple ingredient pre-workout supplement increased total power in 1 repetition max. His data showed us that using this pre-workout or multiple ingredient supplement had a better effect than the placebo pill given to the other control group. This is a promising factor that it helps show that my results are credible, that pre-workout does have an effect on the body and does help increase power and load in your workouts. So now we're going to talk about the study that I conducted. I did a double-blind experiment which helped ensure that there's no bias in my experiment because me and the participant had no idea who was getting what supplement. I had 2 groups in my experiment. I had a placebo group, which was the control group, and I had an experimental group. This group was given 10 grams of the pre-workout substance before being tested. The tests that I chose to do were bench press max, squat max, and deadlift max. Before the testing started, 1 week prior to testing, I had the participants come in and do a baseline test. This baseline testing gave me an idea of where the people stood and how much weight they were already using in their normal lifts. This helped me decide if the pre-workout supplement helped them increase their power and increase their muscle composition or not. The placebo and the experimental group will be given the substance 30 minutes before the workout. One other factor I will have them do is I will have them fast 12 hours before the workout and a week before the baseline testing. They will also have to not work out for 1 week before the baseline testing because I don't want any soreness or anything to affect my results by them putting up heavy weights prior to my experiment. So the methodology. I had 10 to 15 male athletes. I decided to deal with semi-professional athletes. The average age of my participants was 25 with a standard deviation of 8 years. Some delimitations I put on my experiment were that they had to follow instructions, detox prior to the supplement, fast 12 hours before testing, and the participants could not participate if they have any knowledge of any prior heart condition, because the pre-workout supplement could have health effects on that person, and we didn't want to cause any harm to the participants. The duration of my experiment will be 5 weeks. I'm only asking the participants to work out 3 days a week. 1 day, bench press max. 2 day, the second day, squat max, and the third day, deadlift max. And these will vary each week on which day is what. And there will also be, like I've stated already, baseline testing 1 week prior to the start of the experiment. So coming to the conclusion of my experiment, the results showed us that the participants had an increase in muscle composition during the 5-week period. The semi-professional athlete showed a higher muscle increase with the use of the pre-workout supplement. The group without the pre-workout, I noticed, was not as motivated and intrigued in the lifts. This could be a reason because the pre-workout gives that extra boost to the person before the lift starts and makes them want to work out. The placebo group also showed a drop in intensity level as the lift progressed from start to finish. So now we're going to discuss the results. The results showed us that the pre-workout helped increase the muscle growth in athletes in at the semi-professional level. According to Bloomer, who trained 19 resistance-trained men, there was an increase in bench press power with the use of pre-workout supplement. My design showed that and helped prove Bloomer's study is true. Unfortunately, there were some limitations on my experiment. I only used one type of pre-workout. I only used men in my study, and there was a certain type of male athlete used. I'm not sure if another pre-workout had the same effects, or if I used different levels of athletes would affect if the pre-workout has the same effect as it did with these semi-professional athletes. If trained individuals or untrained individuals would have a different result, I don't know from my experiment. Some improvements in my study could come from longer study. I could use male and female athletes, and I could have a wider range of subjects. So now the hypothesis for my results. We found that the male athlete will have an increase in muscle retention and power output with the use of pre-workout supplement. The study showed us that once the pre-workout was administered and digested into the system, the level of intensity that the athletes brought to the lift became much higher than if they had the placebo. So the study found that the use of pre-workout does have a beneficial effect on muscle composition in trained semi-professional athletes. These results showed us that the supplement group had a stronger finish in their lifts, unlike the placebo group who became less motivated as the lifts went on. Some benefits of my research show us that pre-workout does have a beneficial effect on muscle composition, but unfortunately, it doesn't tell us if it's healthy for the body or not. This could be further research I can conduct would be if the pre-workout is a healthy alternative to normal organic pre-workout supplements, or this powder substance that helps increase the intensity in our bodies. Thank you. Have a good day.